So I've been noticing a pretty crazy trend that's been going on in my neighborhood. I'm sure it's happening in a lot of areas around Central Phoenix, but I wanted to stop and kind of take a look at it because I am very surprised at the number of homes that are getting torn down right now. The number of homes that are actually purchased at these prices that most people are thinking are crazy, and then not only are they paying those prices, but then they're tearing them down. So there are more homes in this little pocket of right around where I live that are being torn down than I've ever seen since I've lived here. So I kind of want to take you guys on a tour of that, kind of show you what's happening, show you how it might affect you if you're looking to make a move to the area, and really kind of give you some guidance on whether it makes sense for you. So if that information is important for you, then stay tuned. What's up, everybody? It's Greg Corbett with the AZ Lifestyle Group right here in Phoenix, Arizona. If this is your first time to this channel and you're looking to find out everything you need to know about what it's like living in and or moving to the Phoenix metro area, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click the bell so you can be notified whenever we post a new video. We are helping people from all over when it comes to finding the best places and neighborhoods to live here, and we absolutely love it. So if you're even thinking about making a move and you need any assistance whatsoever, give us a call, send us a text, shoot us an email. However you want to get a hold of us, we got your back when it comes to moving to the Phoenix metro. So let's take you guys on a tour of my neighborhood, and we're not going to go too far. We're only going to look probably within, you know, maybe a quarter mile, and that's only on one side of this area here. And it gets the point across just looking in this small little quadrant here, because as of right now, I'm counting 10 properties that have been basically torn down and new properties are going to be built. And the thing that I find that interesting, because we're in a neighborhood, obviously we've been in an area, this whole zip code of 85018, and not only in the Arcadia area, but across Central Phoenix with older houses, and you know, people being attracted to the neighborhood, comes people who want to come in, take a house that was built a long time ago, tear it down, build something else. But you know, the interesting thing to me is I haven't seen it on this level, and that is why I wanted to do this video, because especially with what's going on in the market right now, I think people need to get a general idea, especially people who are like looking at it from a, hey, prices have escalated as much as they have. You know, and the interesting thing to me is not only are people paying escalated prices, but then they're going ahead and tearing down the property and building a new one. So, you know, I just want to kind of go through that with you guys. There's going to be mixed feelings from a lot of people on it. A lot of people are obviously going to have a challenge with some of this new construction that's happening, but some people might see an opportunity as well. So we're going to talk about kind of the pros and cons of both, because, you know, I'm living through it right now. Going through a house that was, you know, torn down next to me. You know, it's going to affect certain things negatively and could also raise property values for myself. So there's mixed feelings on my end. It's just really interesting to see kind of going through some of these properties, you know, and seeing the price point at what people bought them for, and then basically have them be torn down altogether. All right, I want to show you guys this one first. And since nobody's around, let's go take a look inside. So I'm at the house actually next door to our house here. This was probably a 2,000 square foot home that was built originally back in the 60s. They purchased this one, I think, early this year, probably before the craziness. So they actually probably got a pretty good price on this house before the insanity of the market took off. And now they were doing a remodel on it, finally decided to tear it down altogether, extend, you know, the slab. I think they're going to be doing about a 2,300 square foot plan on here now. So you come in here, they've got vaulted ceilings. I only see a 3-bedroom setup here, which is interesting. Maybe I'm missing something. But you know, for what we're seeing right now, my guess is they'll probably have to list this around 1.5. So, I mean, you're backed up to 48th Street, which I don't think is a negative. You've got a fairly small backyard. They're gonna do a pool, so that'll be included. You got Arcadia High School right behind you. But again, it'll be interesting to see kind of how all this plays out. But this is gonna be a house that will be listed potentially soon. These builders have put some of their other houses that are under construction on the market while they're under construction, so people can come in and pick finishes. So on stuff like this, if it's something that you might be interested in, reach out to us. All right, I definitely wanted to stop right here because a lot of action going on right around this little corner. We've got this house down here. That is a partial teardown and full guts. They're leaving part of the shell up and then they're gonna expand on that. I consider that pretty much a full teardown by the time they get done. And some of these, they start the process and then they tend to tear down the rest. And then this one is really interesting to me. This one on this corner here, this is a property that just sold for $800,000+. And you know, was actually a pretty nice house. Like, it probably was dated. It was, you know, it wasn't as dated as some of the other properties in this community though. It wasn't a, you know, 60s build, 50s, 60s build. And, you know, it's a great size lot. You know, the good news is they've got really nice views of Camelback behind, but you know, if somebody's gonna come in, purchase this for 800+ and then tear it down, you know, they're gonna be putting some money into the build. We'll go down here in a second. There is one that was a mostly tear down, same builder as the one next to my house. They just listed that one for 2.4. That's a price point that we haven't really seen too much in this neighborhood. You know, there's obviously, you know, what we're across the street from Arcadia proper. So we're seeing a lot of people maybe now being priced out of Arcadia proper and all the what's going on over there. Arcadia Light kind of went through this within the last several years. Now people are coming here for good reason. There's a lot of value in this neighborhood, but man, the price points, they're definitely crazier than I would have thought. And then we've got one more property on the corner here. This builder purchased this lot probably like a year and a half ago. He's been sitting on it. Good news for him now. But this will be, I would not be surprised if this ended up being a $2 million build as well. They've got nice views of Camelback too. So it's really interesting to see, you know, what's going on. Again, good news for anybody who lives here from a value point of view to a certain extent, but also a little challenging for people that want to live here and are getting priced out. All right, so wanted to show you guys this one as well. This is the one that they did mostly, you know, pretty much a full tear down. They left maybe 1 or 2 walls. This is the one that's currently listed, just went active the other day at 2.4 million. I'll get you the details. I forget exactly the square footage, probably in the 35 to 4,000 square foot range. But you know, this is one of my favorite streets within this little community here. It's just super green, trees everywhere. There's a lot of really cool houses. So I understand why there's such a desire, especially to live on this particular street. But man, it's, you know, I don't think we've seen anything trade over $1 million here. I think most of the properties that have sold even recently that were, you know, again, the highest price point was probably that one for 800 that just got torn down. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how this all plays out. But beautiful street. I'm sure it's going to be a nice home. I like what these guys do as builders. I feel like they've done a good job and done some nice stuff in the neighborhood. Yeah, it's crazy to think of how much this is turning over and what's going to happen for future homes in this neighborhood. So I will say this, the good news when I'm going around and seeing most of these properties is, you know, the style and the quality tend to be, you know, what a lot of people are looking for, especially when it comes to single stories in this neighborhood. This particular neighborhood is not really fitting for these big box 2-stories. So, you know, you get builders coming through. A lot of the spec builders, they find these teardowns on smaller lots, and the only way to make a profit on these is try to build the largest house they can in order to give somebody, you know, 3,000 square foot plus on a smaller lot. So they build these big box 2-stories. You know, those properties don't tend to be a good fit, I don't think, in the neighborhood. People are still going to build them, but they stick out like a sore thumb. So, you know, we're going to see them. There's going to be people that are getting in there and purchasing them because they think it's still a good fit for their families. I understand that. But everybody else in the neighborhood's probably going to have a tough time with it. It's so funny, even just driving around right now doing this video, you know, obviously living here, you think you would have a pretty good idea on all the stuff that's going on, but there's little pockets that you just kind of never drive by. And I just found within this small little radius of a quarter mile, I found another teardown. So let's make it 11 that I've seen again in this little quadrant right here. So again, there are a ton of teardowns all throughout Central Phoenix right now. It's just what part of the process when it comes to, you know, houses that were built back in the 50s and 60s, and you know, this area being so highly desired that people are going to come in and they're going to, you know, build what they want to live in. So it's part of the process. It just, again, my surprise for me is how much it's happening right now in just a small area, and the prices that people are paying to tear stuff down. All right, so I wanted to stop by this one as well. I wanted to show you one that is actually just about completed, and is now, it's listed on the MLS, but it is pending under contract. This one is a 5-bedroom, 4.5 bath, about 3,100 square foot, listed at 1.95 million. So again, high price point, especially for price per square footage at 3,000 square foot. Really cool looking house. I have not been inside this one, but I've seen, you know, I've seen the finishes. I kind of have a general idea on what this looks like. So again, prices pushing up. It'll be interesting to see, you know, what that included, because a lot of these that are going under contract prior to being complete, they don't include the landscape. So you might not have backyard landscape. So you could be paying close to $2 million before you even have a backyard. So yeah, it should be interesting, but these are the types of properties that we'll keep an eye on. And, you know, if you're like, hey, these are the types of properties I'm interested in, then let us know so we can maybe give you a little inside scoop on some that are coming around the corner. So one of the other things that I want to mention regarding this area, because I think it's important to kind of put a little context into why some of these prices are pushing so high. So if you think about the zip code of 85018, that includes Arcadia and anything that is kind of associated with it. So you have Arcadia proper, also known as True Arcadia, and then you have kind of the offshoots of Arcadia Light, and what we are in here, which is considered Lower Arcadia or Arcadia Osborne. And the one thing about this Lower Arcadia area is that it has a lot of similarities with Arcadia proper, in that you don't have a whole lot of through traffic for a pretty good portion or a pretty good section of the area. So you have Osborne, which is kind of a low traffic section, but between Thomas and Indian School, outside of Osborne, there's not a whole lot of traffic. So it's very walkable. It's very friendly from a point of view to have, you know, your kids walking around, pets, stuff like that. You just don't have a lot of traffic, and you have a lot of areas that have a little bit bigger lots. So with that, there's just a lot of things that people are attracted to, especially with, you know, the walkability to schools for kids, and just being, you know, in a very central area that has the best of the best when it comes to access to, you know, dining, nightlife, shopping, and just greenery in general. I think, you know, part of the reason I moved into this area was it just looks completely different. The mature trees, landscaping, everybody having grass in their backyard. It's just a different feel from a lot of some of the areas that are newer construction in other parts of Metro Phoenix. One of the other reasons when I'm talking about this, I'm thinking out loud, one of the other reasons that I think is causing all of this to happen a little bit more in this area than we've seen in the past is you had all of the growth and a lot of the new construction over the past 5 to 10 years within Arcadia. That spilled over into Arcadia Light. Arcadia Light became a huge area for people to start tearing down. And this area didn't start as quickly as those two. And a lot of the reasons for that, you know, especially when it went to Arcadia Light, is you were able to pick up properties much cheaper to tear down and start from scratch. And then you had the comps to build. It was harder to find a property in this neighborhood that you could spend the money and tear it down and then rebuild it and then have the ability to sell it. So it just wasn't tapped yet. At this point, you know, now with what we're seeing price-wise, now people are seeing the value. Now people are like, hey, I'm not gonna spend the money in Arcadia proper. I don't have 3 to 5 million plus, but I can come down here, I can spend $1.5 million to 2 and make it worthwhile. All right, so I thought I'd bring you out here to 48th Street. The area that I've been focusing on primarily is on the east side of 48th Street, but a lot of the draw of this neighborhood is kind of what's going on. You've got the Crosscut Canal here, so when it comes to having a place to kind of come out, take walks, ride your bike, go on runs, just kind of a cool spot without too much traffic and, you know, have nice scenery. This is a big part of the attraction of this neighborhood. So and then I also wanted to show you this house here. This is another house just kind of probably 5 doors down from where I'm at. This was torn down last year at some point. They've taken some time to build it. I don't have all the info on it yet, but this is a property that's going to be probably for sale in the next month or two, I imagine. So again, I wanted to kind of show you guys that. I think it's important for people to kind of understand the reason why people are looking to move over here, and also kind of get a grasp on how all these new construction homes will affect you. And also, you know, from a perspective of looking on the market, you're going to see a lot of houses maybe that are a little bit older, maybe don't look exactly like what you want, but maybe there's an opportunity there for you if you're the right person, if you want to come in and maybe take on a new project. So depending on your situation, might be a fit for you. Kind of a funny thing, but one of the things that I forgot to mention when we were going through some of the pluses of the neighborhood, you know, and maybe it should be known by a lot of people, but as being a part of Arcadia, you've got Camelback Mountain as your backdrop. That is another big draw to why people are here. So again, if you guys are interested in knowing a little bit more about Phoenix, Arcadia, Lower Arcadia here in general, any part about this area, reach out to us. We know these areas very well. We can give you kind of the inside scoop about what's going on, maybe hopefully give you a little bit of guidance on whether it's a good fit for you. So make sure to reach out to us. If you want to know about other areas around Phoenix, reach out to us about those as well. Let us know in the comments. We will make sure to get with you. Until the next video, guys, we'll catch you later.